So the demo derby is going to be 3 minutes, and you're going to hear about some products that are ready to launch, some closer than others, and we're going to start with something coming out of the Nokia Research Lab, working with Sesame Workshop. Is that right?
That's right, yeah.
And I'm going to turn it over to...
Great. So I'm Tico, and this is Hayes. And we're actually, this is a project that's designed to help grandparents read with their grandkids over video conferencing. So you can see that we have a video conference set up.
Sort of a book-like object here.
And one of the features, one of the notable features is it can tell, you know, what page you're on. So as Hayes starts to turn pages, you'll see that the pages turn here on the screen. So you can see that it's right, it's here. There we go. So you can see the shoe page. And then another thing that's really notable out here is that Elmo's there. Elmo's there to help kind of keep the children engaged in the reading activity, and he also promotes dialogic reading. So Elmo, you know, what do you think is going on this page right here, Elmo? We need some audio here. So he really kind of engages the children in dialogue, encouraging them to talk about the book, and also modeling dialogic reading for the grandparents as well, and for the parents. So hopefully that will transfer to their other reading scenarios as well. So he really kind of serves two purposes. And one of the things that's really special about this experience, one of the things we looked at when we were kind of studying video conferencing in the home, Skype is turning out to be really popular in connecting grandparents. But children aren't really good at conversation at all. They really like to play. And so this book provides a structured activity to really kind of scaffold the interaction and provide something that they can do together over video conference, which really improves both the quality and the quantity of the interaction over the video conference as well. One of the families that we were testing this with spent 24 minutes on this 10-page book over video conference. So it's really been phenomenal.
Yeah, and it's sort of interesting to contrast that to the research we had done on how families are using today's communication tools in the home. And so most people would like to use the phone, but it doesn't work at all for little kids, especially under age 5. Kids really have to be prompted to say anything at all. So the conversations don't last much more than a minute on the phone. And video conferencing is better for a number of reasons, because kids can show you things. They can stand on their head and show you something new they learned with their body, or hold up a picture they've done. But families were still hitting the stumbling block of like, okay, now that we've said hello, what do we do together? And Tico talked about how this is really helping people engage longer. And one of the ways it's doing that, and I think which is notable for this audience, is that we've really reconfigured the notion of how media should work in children's education. So all of the things that Elmo does here are to promote conversation between people. And so he'll ask you open-ended questions about the book. And he never reads it to you, for instance, but he always sparks the conversation to be directed back to the adults and to the children.
That is very a really big wall. The wall is almost as tall as Crawford.
And so we think one of the interesting opportunities as communications and entertainment technologies start to converge is to think about how to leverage people at a distance. So traditionally, Sesame was successful largely because it was scripted to engage the whole family, not just the children. But a lot of times, in reality, I think what happens in the homes is that parents just need a break. So they're not sitting there with the children. The children might be watching it alone or with a sibling. And so what if, in the future, kids aren't just interacting with Elmo alone on screen, but instead can be interacting with Elmo and with Grandma, who really wants to be connected with the child but can't be there physically. There might be whole new opportunities to really be supporting the kinds of social connections that often are criticized for being lost when media and technology are introduced into the fold.
How are you guys doing?
That's it.
Yeah. You're on the nose. Yeah. Those Nokia guys are fast, Robin. We were going to do a whole Survivor theme because we had Yul coming, and we grass skirts and coconuts and all that. But we decided just so. David. Holy camoly! What was that? Okay, sure. Yeah, fine. Well, are you okay with that? Can you do it in 3? No. Yeah, that's what I did tell him. But I don't want you guys to get mad because you're bigger than me. They look tough, don't they? These Nokia guys. All right, so I'm going to set it at 5, and we are going to go.
Hi, my name is Williamson, and earlier we heard a little bit of data about the fact that about 1 in 3 minutes that a child's awake in the day is spent in front of the TV, which is actually a little bit shocking. That's over 4 hours a day. So I'm the CEO of Zoodles and the co-founder, and what I want to demo for you today is what we believe is an experience for children that will allow parents to shift that time from kind of passive lean-back TV time to fun, engaging, educational time online. And that experience really starts with kids in our child browser. So we developed our browser from the ground up for kids. So this isn't a browser that you and I are used to using. There's no back button, there's no URL. Rather, kids come in and just click on their picture to log into this service. So by clicking on their picture, they start to use Zoodles, and Zoodles knows a lot about every child. So in this case, I clicked on my daughter's picture, Abby, who's 5. The service knows she's 5. It knows that she's in the midst of learning to read. So what we're giving to her are a set of games that are age and skill level appropriate for Abby. We've scoured the web to find the best games for a child. So let's take a look at one game, and we'll see if my internet connection here is working. All right, good. So this is going to load a game from a site called Starfall. Starfall is a great site for children who are learning to read. And what it's going to do is help walk Abby through a series of activities that are going to help her understand relationships amongst letters, basic phonics. So you can see, this is a really engaging experience if you're, if you're 5, and this notion of kind of Q and U going together, right? That's kind of the right age-appropriate content for a 5-year-old. Let's go ahead and take a look at an older child experience. So here's John, my fictitious older child. And not only does John get different content, right, because you want your 7-year-old to get different content than a 5-year-old, as you can see in his story box, but he actually gets a different interface. So software should adapt to children. It should recognize how old they are, what are their cognitive abilities. So we provide an older child with a more sophisticated interface. So he can come in and browse by categories of content, looking at brain games, let's say, or he might want to come in and find a Harry Potter game to play. And so as the child grows and as they learn new things, Zoodles adapts with that child, right? In another session, I talked a little bit about the safety features of Zoodles. One of the great things about the product is the browser will never go to a URL that hasn't been pre-approved by our team of educational experts. That means that you can't find your child suddenly off on another site, which is a big fear for parents, and one of the reasons why they don't let their kids spend as much time on the computer as they do watching TV. I'm going to hop over now and demo a little bit of the parent experience. So because the Zoodles browser talks back to our service, we know a lot about what children are doing when they're online. So we can give parents reports around the games that their children are playing. So this is my daughter's real data. You can see where my daughter is spending time academically speaking. And I may say, it would be great for Abby to spend more time, let's say, doing math and reading activities. So I can come into Zoodles and simply, let's say, ratchet up the math, and let's make sure some reading gets in the mix. And her toy box gets kind of recomputed, and we rearrange all the games so that she'll play more math and reading games. It's a really important thing to give parents the opportunity, because they know a lot about their child and where their child's at with respect to their development. The other thing parents really want to be able to see and control is where can their child go online. So while we create a whitelist for parents of pre-approved sites, some parent may have an objection to some set of sites that we've put into the system for whatever reason. And so we want to give parents the ability to block any content that they might find objectionable. So a parent can come in and block a specific site. Interestingly enough, we've talked to lots of parents, and one of the things we found is that oftentimes they're fine with sites, but there are specific branded characters they just don't want entering their life. It starts off as them seeing a TV show or playing a game, and then all of a sudden it turns into the toys, and the room's full of it, and all of a sudden it's everywhere. In my household, it just so happens I just didn't want us to be a Barney household, so I blocked Barney from my daughter. So we really think that by solving the interface problem for children, right, making it simple for kids to get online, so the children don't need to come back to their parents every 15 minutes because there was a pop-up ad over their experience, or they accidentally closed a tab in a browser, or they got into the parent's computer somewhere. You'll notice Zoodles goes full screen. You can't mess up somebody, the kid can't mess up your computer. By making it simple and easy to use for kids, giving parents the controls that they want to have, making the content inside of the system educational so a child can learn something, knowing where that child is academically speaking, and putting that right game in front of them, we think we can create something that